You wake up, the alarm blares. You go to work, you stare at a screen, you eat, you come home, you watch something to forget about the day, you sleep. And then, you do it all over again. Have you ever paused in the middle of it all and had a thought that felt dangerous? Is this it? We spend our entire lives frantically searching for meaning, a purpose, a grand cosmic reason for our existence. We read self-help books, we follow gurus, we chase promotions, all hoping to find that one thing that makes it all make sense. But what if the secret isn't finding meaning at all? What if the secret is accepting that there is none? And what if, and stay with me here, what if that's the most liberating, powerful, and joyful realization you could ever have? That in a universe that doesn't care about you, you are completely and totally free. This is the brutal and beautiful philosophy of Albert Camus, and it might just be the key to mental invincibility. When you hear the word philosopher, you probably picture some old guy with a long beard sitting in a dusty room. That was not Albert Camus. This was a man who lived. He grew up in poverty in French Algeria. He was a star goalkeeper, a handsome chain smoker, a resistance journalist fighting the Nazis. He was a man of action, a man who lived. He lived through some of the most chaotic times in human history. 2 world wars, the rise of totalitarianism, the constant threat of annihilation. The world around him seemed to have lost its mind. It was a world screaming with meaninglessness. It was the perfect breeding ground for his most important idea. He looked at the chaos and asked the fundamental question of all philosophy. If the world doesn't make sense, then how are we supposed to live in it? How do you get up in the morning when you're not sure there's a point to any of it? His answer, well, it changed everything. Camus called this feeling the absurd. Now the word absurd gets thrown around a lot. We say a weird movie is absurd or a politician's excuse is absurd. But Camus meant something very specific. The absurd isn't just that life is meaningless. No, it's a conflict, a clash, a divorce between 2 opposing forces. On one side of the clash you have us, humanity. We are meaning-making machines. We desperately crave logic, reason, order, and purpose. We look up at the stars and we don't just see gas balls. We see constellations, we tell stories, we ask the big questions. Why are we here? What's our purpose? And on the other side of the clash, you have the universe. And what does the universe offer back in response to our questions? Nothing. Just a cold, vast, silent indifference. It has no reason, no logic, no inherent purpose for us. It just is. It operates on its own unthinking laws, completely unaware of our hopes, our dreams, and our fears. The absurd is the feeling of that gap. It is the friction between our burning need for meaning and the universe's silent refusal to provide it. It's like shouting, "Why?" into the Grand Canyon and hearing nothing back but your own fading echo. It's a feeling that can drive you mad if you let it. This realization, truly feeling this absurd conflict, creates a crisis, a fork in the road. And according to Camus, most of us try to escape this uncomfortable feeling. We take one of 2 paths, and both of them, he argues, are a terrible, terrible mistake. They are traps designed to make us feel better, but they rob us of our lives. So what are these 2 great escapes from the absurd? One is an escape for the mind, the other is an escape for the body. But both are a form of surrender, and for Camus, surrender was never an option. Let's break down these two great traps. The first great escape is what Camus called philosophical suicide. This is the leap of faith. It's when the tension of the absurd becomes too much to bear, so you decide to kill your own reason to make the pain go away. You choose to believe in something, anything, that gives you all the answers. This could be a religion that promises eternal life and a divine plan. It could be a rigid political ideology that claims to have the perfect blueprint for society. This is any system, any ism that says stop asking hard questions. We have the absolute truth for you. But Camus saw this as a form of intellectual cowardice. You are choosing to deny one half of the absurd equation. Your own rational mind that sees the world's lack of evidence for these grand claims. You're trading your intellectual freedom for comfort. It's an escape, not a solution. The second great escape is more direct, more final. It's actual physical suicide. This is the ultimate conclusion for someone who decides that if life has no inherent meaning, then it's not worth living. If the game has no point, why keep playing? Why endure all the suffering, all the struggle? Camus starts his most famous essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, by saying this is the one truly serious philosophical problem. He takes it incredibly seriously, but he ultimately rejects it. Why? Because suicide is also an escape. It's not confronting the absurd. It's being conquered by it. You're not solving the problem of the meaningless struggle. You're just erasing yourself from the equation. You are letting the silence of the universe defeat you. You are surrendering the very thing that makes you special. Your conscious, struggling life. It's the ultimate act of giving up. Okay, so if we can't escape into a comforting belief system, and we can't escape by ending it all, what in the world are we supposed to do? Are we just trapped? Wrong. This is where Camus's genius truly shines. He offers a third path, not an escape, but a confrontation. The third option is rebellion. You don't ignore the absurd. You don't surrender to it. You stare it right in the face every single day and you live in spite of it. You hold both truths in your mind at once. My life is finite and ultimately meaningless, and yet I will live it to the fullest anyway. This rebellion isn't a one-time decision. It's a constant, moment-to-moment state of being. It's the refusal to be brought to your knees. And to illustrate this ultimate rebel, Camus didn't turn to a soldier or a revolutionary. He turned to an ancient Greek myth, a story about a man and his rock. This is the myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a king who was clever, too clever. He cheated death twice and angered the gods. For his crimes, they devised a punishment that they believed was the most horrific thing imaginable, a punishment of complete and utter futility. They condemned Sisyphus to push a giant boulder up a mountain for all eternity. And just as he would reach the summit, the rock would roll all the way back down to the bottom, and he would have to start all over again. Forever. Pointless, repetitive, hopeless labor. This sounds like hell, right? It's the ultimate symbol of a meaningless life, a cosmic joke. You work, you struggle, you get nowhere, and you repeat. But then, Camus turns the entire story on its head with one of the most powerful and provocative claims in all of philosophy. He says the most important part of the story isn't the struggle up the mountain. It's the pause at the top. The moment the rock rolls away and Sisyphus has to walk back down the mountain to start again. Because in that moment of descent, he is fully, painfully conscious of his condition. He knows his fate. He has no hope. There is no illusion. And because he is lucid, because he sees the whole extent of his miserable condition, and he still walks down to push the rock again. He is superior to his fate. He is stronger than his rock. And in this clear-eyed acceptance, Camus declares, we must imagine Sisyphus happy. Happy, a man condemned to eternal, pointless labor is supposed to be happy. Yes, because his happiness is a form of rebellion. It's a profound screw you to the gods who tried to crush him. He finds meaning not in the task, but in his defiance of the task's meaninglessness. This is the mindset of the absurd hero. So how do we become Sisyphus? How do we find happiness in our own struggle? Camus gives us a three-part guide. It's a practical blueprint for becoming an absurd hero in our own lives. The first step is the one we've been talking about: revolt. Revolt is your life force. It's the conscious act of keeping the absurd alive. It means refusing to accept easy answers or to fall into despair. It's waking up every morning, acknowledging the void, and choosing to fill it with your own conscious existence for one more day. It is your constant, powerful no to giving in. Living in this state of revolt naturally leads to the second pillar: freedom. This is an absolutely radical kind of freedom. Once you truly internalize that there is no divine plan, no cosmic rule book, and no afterlife to worry about, you are finally free from the burden of hope for another life. You are free to live by your own code, to create your own values, to make your choices based on this life, this moment. You're no longer a character in someone else's story. You are the author of your own. Your time is yours alone, and that makes it infinitely more precious and important. And if this life is all you have and you are completely free to live it, what do? That brings us to the beautiful final step: passion. If there's no eternal scoreboard, then the goal isn't to live well by some external standard. The goal is to live much. Passion is about maximizing your experience of the world. It's about replacing the abstract search for meaning with a concrete thirst for life. Feel everything. Love with everything you have. Create something. See the world. Suffer deeply and experience joy intensely. Squeeze every last drop of life from your limited time on this floating rock. So instead of asking, "What is the meaning of my life?" the absurd hero asks, "How can I fill my life with the most passion, freedom, and revolt?" You don't find meaning. You create it moment by moment with every conscious, rebellious, and passionate choice you make. This isn't a philosophy of despair. It is a call to arms for a life of intense joy. This is the ultimate mindset shift. It transforms life from a problem to be solved into an experience to be lived. It makes you anti-fragile. When bad things happen, and they will, you don't ask, "Why me?" You see it as just another texture of existence, another part of the absurd struggle that you have chosen to embrace. Look around you. We are all Sisyphus. Your boulder might be your job, your bills, your daily responsibilities, your struggle with an illness. It's that thing you have to do day in and day out that can feel repetitive and soul-crushing. We all have a boulder. We are pushing up a hill. You can let that boulder crush your spirit. You can live in resentful hope that one day it will magically disappear. Or you can become the master of your rock. You can find your dignity, your freedom, and even your happiness in the struggle itself. You can learn to love the process of pushing. You can find your joy in the walk back down the hill. That clear, quiet moment where you see your life for exactly what it is. A magnificent, pointless, beautiful struggle. And you can smile, take a deep breath, and walk towards that boulder with purpose, a purpose you created for yourself. The universe is silent. It doesn't love you. It doesn't hate you. It simply doesn't know you exist. And that silence is not a reason for despair. That silence is a blank canvas. It is the ultimate permission slip to live authentically, fiercely, and on your own terms, to paint your own masterpiece on it. So maybe it's time to stop desperately searching for a secret purpose that was hidden for you to find. Because what if the whole secret was realizing you never needed one in the first place?